chef's life, the truth. So the chef's uniform. Um, it's a it's a strange feeling putting on that uniform for the first time. I guess it's probably different for all young chefs that are stepping into that world. They've all got I guess, some sort of idea or a dream or something that they've been feeling that how it's going to be like, what it's going to be like, and what's important to them. I know the first time I got to do it, I'd already been working really as a kitchen hand. I was lucky enough to start working for free at the age of about 15 on Friday nights in a kitchen, just doing prep work to sort of learn from a restaurateur in town who was nice enough to let me work for free, and to give me a taste of what it was like to work in a kitchen as a young lad who'd never done it before. I got told to wear a clean white t-shirt, and they'd give me an apron that I could wear, and I wore jeans and running shoes, and I got to stand out the back and do basically vegetable prep most of the time. I got to do a bit of meat prep, and I slowly moved on to doing a little bit of desserts, which meant whipping cream, and then I started decorating some of the desserts. And for me, I'd been doing that for about months. I don't recall how long, but at the end of that, and after following the summer holidays, I got to work and actually get paid a little bit of money. I ended up getting an apprenticeship, and that's when I got to put the uniform on for the first time. And purchasing that uniform and actually putting it on and feeling that I was one of the team, one of the brigade, I was going to be a part of a brigade. I was going to be working in another kitchen with people I didn't know, real chefs, and I was going to look like them. I wasn't going to be the guy in the back with just the t-shirt or the dishwasher. I was going to be one of the chefs. I was going to be looked at as if I knew what I was doing. I was cooking, and that was something I was seriously proud of, and felt that an immense sense of pride putting it on. I've got a picture of me putting it on at home, and I stood there, sort of chest puffed up and arms at my side, and proud of this uniform that I was wearing before I'd even stepped foot in the kitchen the first time. So it's all different for chefs, and I know I've seen a lot of chefs that have come in later. I mean, I started doing that when I was 16 and worked full time from that day. I've seen a lot of chefs come in, and there's an immense sense of pride on the uniform. I've also seen a whole lot of idiots that don't have any pride in that uniform, and I'll try and get to that. But as per usual, if we break it down a little bit, there's some different sort of areas. So the actual uniform itself, there's I think first and foremost, it's quite a specific uniform that people recognise around the world. So one thing, around the world, everybody knows exactly what a chef uniform looks like. Whites with normally those black buttons down the front, a hat, a white hat, an apron, and people maybe don't think too much about the pants or the shoes, but they're quite important. And traditionally there's been a necktie there as well. So to start with, it's worldwide sort of recognised uniform, which is quite special. So it means you're instantly part of a worldwide club. But I mentioned safety, and I mentioned before working in the brigades in the kitchen and the heat, and I mentioned, I think, in the violence video that it's not a comfortable situation to be in, and this uniform, pretty much the same thing. It's not really built for comfort. I'd probably say the most comfortable part of the whole kit is probably the pants, if you get that right. If you don't get that right, you're in hell. So safety and the specific safety, and then we'll go into hygiene. So safety and hygiene are the two key things with it. Style and comfort, not a lot. I guess the whole kit together has got a certain style, and the key reasons are safety and hygiene. So we'll take it from the top down. I'll explain the shoes in a previous video, but we'll go from this. So the hat. One, it's white, and most of the other parts of the uniform are white as well, and I think this was done to keep sorry, got interrupted. Yeah, so it's white uniform, keep it clean. A dirty chef, no one's really gonna I was going to say not respect a chef that's dirty, and I'd more or less say the same thing. If they don't keep themselves relatively clean and tidy, it just translates and gives you a signal for the way they're actually handling your food and handling their hygiene. So yes, there will be some food and some dirt getting onto your uniform during your day, but you should try and keep it as clean as possible. So the white hat, it's tall. That's to keep a decent amount of air coming out for the top of your head. You need the hat on primarily to stop the sweat from your brow going into the food. That's the main reason. Second reason is to keep your hair from going into the food. And it's tall because you need to have normally the old hats were covered at the top as well, but it's tall because you want some air in there so it doesn't get too hot. When the top of the chef's hat was covered, there wasn't any ventilation in there, and everybody knows you lose the most amount of heat through your head, and when you're in a hot situation your head heats up, and that's where you've got to expire a lot of that heat. So therefore the hat is taller. That's the reasons why. Hats have changed over the years, and most of them are cardboard these days. There's a thing called a skull cap, which has gone to the short cap, which is covered, which is just stupid and crazy as far as I'm concerned. Chefs think they look cool, as if they're some sort of damn sailor, but those cloth things have got no holes in the top. Your head will get hot. Yes, it will keep the sweat out. Yes, it will keep the hair out, but you're going to be hot as hell, and I know exactly how hot those kitchens are, and I think I've tried wearing one once. Somebody gave me one and I just never used it. So the cardboard hats are quite good. Some of them you just roll up and put a staple around the back of them and stick it on your head, perfectly open to the top, lovely. Then you got other ones that are basically sort of folded. You'll open those up, a bit more expensive, and they'll actually have like a thin sort of paper mache top to them with holes in as well. So that's your hat. Keep it on your head, keep the sweat out of the food and out of your eyes, and off your face as well. So it's just for perspiration. So people may think it's there for looks. Nothing to do with that. Yeah, it may look cool to have a hat on part of uniform. Yeah, whatever. You can have different sizes of hats depending on rank. That doesn't really exist. I've never really seen that happen a lot. Some executive sous chefs have had some taller hats where they'd put on for special occasions, going out to restaurants, buffets, photos, things like that, and they just get put back into the office on the top shelf and never worn again. They just put their standard one on and they're back in the kitchen. Shorter hats are there for some trainees or apprentices, or even for dishwashers, those short ones I was talking about, but normally they're not really used. Well, yeah, they could be. They are used by the chefs on say on the hotline, but I feel sorry for those guys doing it. They're probably only just doing it for image. You can have some kitchens that have lower roofs and shelvings and things like that. Pretty crappy kitchens to work in, and then therefore you can have need a shorter hat. But then the same thing there, I just get those paper ones and cut them down. It may look a bit stupid, but literally you want the venting at the top. Okay, then we go to the jacket. Jacket, long sleeves to stop burning your arms. That's why they should always be rolled down. Normally with one cuff, you roll that up to one level, roll it up to two. Every roll, you will actually, yes, cool your body down, because you will actually cool your body down as soon as you expose your wrists. You will actually get rid of some of the heat that way, and it's nice to put it into cold water when you're actually working. Makes it a bit easier. Every time you roll it, it depends if you're working in the hot kitchen or the cold kitchen. If you're working in the cold kitchen, you can roll it up a little bit. But hygiene thing, the sweat comes down your arms, and then they can get into the food as well. Hot kitchen, keep them rolled down, just one roll up. It's also a bit thicker. Those thicker cuffs around your wrists, also protecting your wrists, because they're the ones that are going into those ovens. Burns on your wrists, your skin is very thin, burning right through to the veins is not much fun at all. So the long sleeves are important. Short sleeves kitchens, forget it, too fucking dangerous. Would never ever take that risk. Bakers are basically the only ones that will have a t-shirt on. Some of them are the only ones I've seen. Okay, then we go up to the main part. That's double-breasted. Not double-breasted for style, double-breasted for protection. The thick cotton that the chef's jacket is made from will protect you. So it's going double-breasted right across your stomach. That's for when you pour or drop a big hot pot of sauce or soup or something across, or fat from a tray out of an oven across your chest. When it burns, comes onto you, the risks of you actually spilling something on your stomach and your chest are actually quite high. You want the extra protection there. Then we get to the buttons. These little buttons are little round ones, and they just push through a buttonhole. Really easy. Basically, quick release. You can pull them off and open that jacket up really quickly. Safety there again. If you have poured something across your stomach, you need to get that jacket off quickly and get into cold water. You don't want that hot fat or sauce or whatever it is on your body and burning. You got to get it off before it starts to stick to your body, or your colleagues will rip it off for you. So they need to be able to get your jacket off when you are burnt or on fire, whatever the bloody hell is going on. So you need to be able to get that off. So those quick release buttons, that's what they're for. The neck, so the collar goes up straight, no folded collar or anything silly like that, and no zero collar like is in a t-shirt. It sits up a little bit, and that's actually there to, one, stop the sweat, and two, it's actually quite airy there as well, so the air actually comes up, so some of the heat from your body will actually come up through the top of the jacket and around your neck. So you want it quite loose, you never want it tight, and that's for the heat to actually come out of around in your jacket and up to get out. Also, then you have the neckerchief or the necktie, which you'll tie, and that normally sits on the outside collar around there, that neck thing as well. Normally I tie them a little bit higher so it comes up and above that, so it actually then comes in and almost touches your neck as well. When the heat is on and you are sweating big time, quite often that necktie you can then pop down on the inside of that collar and actually get in there to suck up the sweat. Quite often I've had multiple neckties, or a necktie that's been actually soaked right through. I can almost wring it out at the end of the night. That's probably the only real style thing there that you don't really need a hell of a lot, but it is there. You can use it for some other things as well, but no, not really. It's only a bit of the only stylish thing that's there. And if you're not working in the hot kitchen, and it just feels like there's a balance thing with the uniform as well. You feel sort of top heavy, these thick arms, the heavy jacket at the front of the jacket, and actually having that necktie around, and you've got the hat as well. You sort of feel a bit naked in some way around your neck, and having the necktie there, it's almost like having a jacket and having the collar done up. It does feel a bit, if you're used to wearing neckties or collar jackets, it feels a bit strange when you haven't got it on. So the jacket also is quite long, goes down way below should almost go down halfway down your butt. Same thing there, safety. If you haven't got your apron on and you would pour something across it, it would actually sort of bypass your tummy and your vital parts, I guess your groin, and actually just go down onto your pants. But you should always have your apron on anyway. So that's also there for the apron. So the apron needs to tie around your waist, and you don't want your jacket coming up out the top of your apron. You can't just be covering it. You need a decent amount of jacket that's coming down halfway down your bum. Put your apron across that. That also then means you've got your pants. You get quite hot around your buttocks area and your hips, because you've got underpants, you've got these chef's pants, then you've got this jacket which is double-breasted down the front, then you've got a thick apron on top of that. So that's quite a few layers of clothing around the mid-region, where you do actually normally get quite hot, and quite often a belt as well. And then you've got tea towels. So that's your jacket. Then we go down to the pants. Checkered black and white checks, small checks, or blue and white is the standard for any part of the brigade. So if we go sometimes traditionally, white pants for an apprentice until you're actually a qualified chef. When you're a qualified chef, when you basically become a commie, second commie, when you're not an apprentice anymore, then you will actually get checkered pants. I've worked in some hotels, not even the commies they all have white pants, and only the demi-shifter parties and then shifter parties up are the only ones that have checkered pants. All the way up to then the executive chef in a big hotel, the executive sous chef, and the executive pastry chef. Anything with executive in the title will have black pants, because they're not cooking, they're not getting dirty, and they'll quite often be a suit pant that they'll be wearing for black pants. But basically, for the bulk of it, 90% of all the kitchen chefs working will have checkered pants. Those pants are normally quite thin cotton. They can get a little bit. It depends. It's sort of a personal preference there. There are other ones which are sort of more like a thicker sort of brush cotton. I've quite enjoyed wearing those for quite a few years. They soak up the sweat a lot better, and a bit safer as well. But then the thinner cotton ones are also, then if it's really hot, actually quite nice, but they're not as flick, they don't stretch as much, because you're bending down, picking up pots, things like that. The softer cotton ones actually are a bit more flexible around your waist. Then you've got the shoes. So the bottom of the pants should not be tapered either. They should be not a flare, it should be a straight leg straight down. Pretty ugly, no fashion thought there either. But the safety again, that pant should be over the back of your shoes, down past your, like a normal fitting for your pant, shouldn't be down on the floor. That should be sitting halfway down your shoe, and that should be coming out the front of your shoe as well. So when you again spill liquids on yourself and it goes onto the apron, it should fall off the apron onto your, hopefully bypass your pants altogether and straight onto your shoes or onto the floor. Big part of why the apron should be there. Haven't got to that yet. But the same thing with the shoes. You don't want any hot liquids going inside your shoe, or fat or oil going in there, especially if it's come out of a deep fryer. You want those pants to help protect your feet. Then the shoes solid black, non-slip shoes should be worn in kitchens. Steel tap boots if you can handle them, but try not to get the higher sole ones, the lower sole, because you don't want to be tripping over or rolling over. You want a low shoe. And if you can handle the heat, safer to get the actual little short boot, the ankle boot, sort of military style one, that actually goes up over your heel. That's safer as well. That can sort of a clog or a Birkenstock is quite popular. Safety issue there though as well. I've known a girl that was cleaning a kitchen. Everything was turned off. She was walking across the stoves doing cleaning, but the deep fat fryer had been emptied, it hadn't been emptied. The deep fat fryer was still hot. They hadn't put the lid on it. She was on top of these stove tops cleaning the range hoods, which is the fans, and she walked across and put her foot into the deep fryer. She had these slipper type leather Swiss clog things on, so the toes weren't burnt, but then the bottom of her ankle, up to part of her ankle was all burnt and all just blistered, and I think she ended up having to leave work in England and move in Switzerland and left her contract and had to go back to England. That's a pretty extreme situation. I mentioned it would deep fryer could be emptied. They'd be emptied into buckets. Those buckets would have hot oil in them. I've seen that, heard about that as well, that they can see you climbing up cleaning and then you'll step down and put your foot in that bucket. So buckets of oil are dangerous, and storing of them is pretty important as well. So we're going to the shoes. Now let's go back to the apron. So the apron should be a long apron below your, coming down halfway between your knees and your ankle. That's where it should end up. You should be folding it over and tying it around your waist. Don't tie it around the back, bring it back and put your tie around the front, and then do another fold of that down again. So you basically got, it's not 3 layers of around your waist, because you want a nice thick waist on from your apron to be able to then tuck your tea towel into that apron, which you always need with you for multiple reasons. Multiple reasons for wiping things down, for picking things up that are hot, for drying things off, for drying your knife, for multiple reasons the tea towels are used. Should always have a tea towel with you. Any point in time where you're picking up something hot or picking something else up, someone else's things up that are hot, if they've burnt themselves for safety reasons, if somebody spills something on the floor, you pull your tea towel off and put it onto the floor, because the person walking behind you might not know. If you see it, you take responsibility for it, and the tea towel can be used in multiple ways. I think that's about it. Hygiene wise, no watches, no rings. You leave them in your locker, and hair inside either a hairnet or up into your hat. And I think that's about the lot actually for the uniform. So we've gone through the whole lot from top to toe. Like I said, it's built for speed, not comfort. It's built for safety and hygiene, not comfort. And yep, smart looking chef and a group of them in a kitchen does give you confidence, and the confidence I'm looking for. We're looking at chefs in the kitchen and how clean and tidy they are and presented, will then give me a peace of mind that the food I'm going to put into my stomach is free from bacteria and they've handled everything in the correct way. If they're looking disgusting sweat, I don't mind, because as I've explained, there's a whole reason why, and they can't stop that. But dirt and dirty hats and hats that have been sweat marks on the day before and things like that, there's all these little telltale signs of looking at a chef and the way they're presented, looking at their shoes. Have they cleaned their black shoes, or is there dirt there for sort of 4 or 5 days, or months or weeks? Another telltale sign is those pants, they don't wash them every day. That's another lazy trick. And an apron that doesn't. You can change your apron throughout the day a couple of times. Is also another good sign. And the neckerchief, I think you should always have it. Just for the same thing there with the sweat coming around. When it starts sweating more, sometimes you just really need that to dry your face, or keep the sweat from coming into the food. So something extra is definitely worth it. So I think that's a lot. The chef's uniform. I haven't followed through, mentioned any trends. I've just gone for the traditional. You'll see all the trends on TV shows and all the rest of it. But as far as I'm concerned, all you're doing is compromising one of the rules that I've mentioned and the reasons why the classical uniform actually exists. Yeah, I'm a bit of a traditionalist, so I think the classic uniform is all that's needed and is all that will ever be needed. And any sort of adjustment to that is basically just breaking some rule or line of thought. Okay, this was the chef's life, the truth, the chef's uniform. Thanks for listening. Bye bye.